Hey everybody, Goosebumps for Dummies back at it again with another video. This time we're doing a ranking of the Goosebumps 2023 show. So, in case this is outdated because there's a season 2 in the works right now, it's actually being filmed as I speak, I believe. This is just season 1. I'm not including anything from season 2, maybe 3. I don't know when you're going to be seeing this, but hopefully it's around the time this is uploaded. But yeah, just so you know, I don't know how big this show's going to get. Probably not very big. We're doing just season 1. I will do season 2 when those episodes come out, and I'll review them, of course. But yeah, we're just doing season 1. So, let's get to it. Starting off with number 10, we're going straight into this. This is the bottom of the barrel pile of shit. So number 10, Night of Living Dummy Part 2, or Episode 9. So this episode, it ruins a lot of things about the show, and it continues the story in a direction that it completely did not need to, and it feels like they just really needed to reach that 10 episode mark. Like, was it part of a contract or something? Either way, it's just unneeded as fuck, and it's stupid. So this episode ruins Nathan Bratt. It adds stupid character development, I guess, to Lucas. It does do one thing right, and it breaks up the near incest relationship that did go down. And we got a little bit of backstory to who Nathan Bratt actually is, which is well liked. And of course, the final scene in that episode was really good, in my opinion. I actually think it was the best scene in the whole show. Yeah, it's the bottom. A lot of shit was just ruined by this episode, and it was just horrible. Lots of teen drama, and Nathan Bratt was ruined pretty much entirely. Next up, number 9 on our list is gotta be Episode 7. Give Yourself Goosebumps. Not only is this one just a clickbait title for us fans of the Give Yourself Goosebumps franchise, which is pretty banger, I must say. I really like the Give Yourself books. It's not only just clickbait, it's just a bad episode. I wouldn't say it's horrible or awful, it's just bad. Like a 4 out of 10, 3 out of 10 level. Because nothing happens, first of all. There's only a couple things that do happen, and it's basically Nathan Bratt's secret identity, since he is possessed by Harold Biddle, being leaked to a Pacific Nora character, and also some sort of drama between Nora and her soon-to-be husbands, probably after the events of Season 1. Of course, we'll never get to see that, because, thank God, Season 2 is going the anthology route. Yeah, this one, it's just a filler episode, it adds nothing to the plot, and it really just sucks. There's also a weird relationship, kind of sparked on with Isaiah and Isabella, and it goes nowhere, which is really fucking stupid. So it was completely unneeded, and I feel like it's just filler. Stupid. And, yeah, not much great about this episode, but it's certainly just overall better than episode 9. It's less just bad. Next up on our list, number 8. So, this episode is probably the most filler episode in any TV show I've ever seen. So, next up, episode 5. Reader beware. This episode is filler to the max. I think this one is literally just teen drama from memory, and the only thing interesting in this episode, which is why it's higher than these other two, the scrapbook. It has an interesting mechanic, and though episode 7 does expand on that a bit more, it's just more interesting seeing the exposition of it. I'm gonna get more Harold Biddle action in this one, I feel, and it's pretty good. They've got an interesting ending to part 1, with, okay, what's in the case, you know, it's extremely obvious. And it's just a fine episode for the most part, but it's really mid because not a lot interesting happens, and it adds nothing to the plot besides mellow teen drama. Again. Next up, number 7 on our list has gotta be Episode 1, Say Cheese and Die. So this episode starts off the show, and the first 3 minutes, I'm gonna be honest, aren't that great. I think it's too teeny, too over the top. There's even references to porn and humping. It's kind of gross and just not very good. I do like some of the stuff it starts up, like the relationship between Margot and Isaiah. Like, oh, it addresses other friends, and it's kind of quirky. I kind of liked it. The house party scene was okay, because it did give way to the camera. And moving on to that, that was why this is way higher than these other two. This one beats him by a decent margin, at least by like 3 points. Yeah, the camera action we got in this episode is actually really creepy and really cool, especially on the football field. That stuff was scary as shit, if I'm being honest. So, it had some greater stuff in like the later third, but still, too much time for exposition, and focus on way too many characters for being the first episode. Like, you have 10 episodes. Spread it out. Next up, number 6 on our list, episode 8. You Can't Scare Me, I think it was called. Yeah, that has nothing to do with that book. And, I will give it this. At least shit happens. It's mostly a giant chase scene, which perfectly sums up this episode. But I did enjoy it for what it was. I think the characters that we got here were good. We focused on the better characters, I feel. Like, we didn't put too much time in Isabella, who was really just a side character and really a filler character. She did nothing for the show, by the way. Completely could cut her out and the show would be basically identical, besides the Haunted Mask not being an episode, which I could live with, honestly, even if I do like it, because it's coming up very soon. Ooh! And, I really, really like, the ending of this episode, though it is ruined by a terrible song being played about getting an erection in someone's car, and that just pisses me off whenever I watch the episode. So yeah, this one's just a giant chase scene. Stuff happens, it's interesting, doesn't focus on terrible characters, but, you know, it could have been better for being basically the true finale of this season. Next up on our list is episode 2 of Haunted Mask, making it number 5 on our list here. This one I'll give it props for taking a little bit of a risk, making the Haunted Mask look a lot more different than you'd expect. They could have easily made it look like the 90s Haunted Mask, or like one from the book covers. It looks like a troll. Now, obviously, this is symbolism, and if you know, you know. I don't want to expand upon it too much, but yeah, it is interesting. I do like the symbolism aspect, but still, I think it could have been better looking. But the white mask is pretty cool. I'll give it that. It has some creepy moments with it actually forming and changing and speaking. Besides that, the episode is solid. There's some great action scenes, or one or two maybe, especially when the mask is obviously put on. And there's some interesting drama. I'll give it that. It's still a fun ride overall. It's definitely one of the weaker of the first 5 episodes. Next up, number 4 on our list, The Cuckoo Clock of Doom, episode 3. Now, this one, I tell ya, this one's a true banger, I'd say. Or rather, it has one of the most interesting concepts I've seen in the show, and probably the most interesting concept in the show, with the Cuckoo Clock of Doom being more of a time warp mechanic, and every time you warp it, or, you know, reverse time, it dupes you. We get way to some funny jokes you do see in episode 5, I believe, like Dupe Soup. I thought it was decently funny, but still, it's super interesting. There's some nice scenes in here. There's a decent bit of action scenes, which I think are pretty good. And it actually fixes James's character, because up until this point, I think we can all agree James sucked. But even after, I guess there was some James haters, but still, I actually quite like James after this episode. It definitely fixed his character in some aspects. He still was kind of too fast-talking and annoying, but still, it's a good episode, and it made James more likable. And it was a great version of the Cuckoo Clock of Doom. I actually prefer it over the mechanics of the original book, controversial as that is. Next up, number 3 on our list. Now we're getting up to our top 3, and we already know the episodes here. 10, 6, and 4. Which order will be coming? Well, starting off with number 3, Episode 10, Horrorland, or Welcome to Horrorland. Alright, I will immediately address this. The title is a bit of a fuck-up, man. It's clickbait, and it does piss me off. They even referenced Carnival of Horrors a little bit with the Carnival of Wonders. No. It does piss me off, but I think this episode has some good stuff. The first 20 minutes or 15 minutes are great. I really like this setup to who this Kondu guy is. It gives you some actual lore, and you get to know who the fuck this is, because he just, you know, appears in episode 9's ending, like, what the fuck? Who is this? And it gives you an explanation to what the Burning Tower you've been seeing is. And it's just a nice episode. I actually quite like this one. I think they took some risks with a certain character getting a bullet wound, and I just liked where this went. It kind of fixed Nathan Bratt's character. It gave a proper closing to this second arc, I guess, in the show, which was not that great to start off with. You know, episode 9's pretty fucking bad. And it had a nice ending before the actual twist ending. But it had a nice ending with Margot reviving Isaiah. That was pretty cool. But it led off to one of the worst scenes in all of Goosebumps history. The Nathan Bratt bathroom scene, part 2. Because the first one was pretty good. This one, horrible. It's a reference to the earlier scene from the Haunted Mask or Cuckoo Clock of Doom. I can't remember which one. I think it was the Haunted Mask. And, it's done horribly. I'm glad it's an anthology now, because I don't want to see where this one would have went if we got a season 2. If it was actually in line with this first season. Next up, the second place holder on our list, Episode 4. Episode 4 is an extremely shockingly good episode. I think this episode really does Go Eat Worms too much justice, because that book is really fucking mid. It's not a great book, and this thing just makes it so much better. We get some lore, we get Lucas's character finally, getting some character, and this made me like Lucas a lot. Lucas's personality was pretty neat. All the scenes involving him were pretty cool, and he's like this daredevil kid, which is already cool enough. I really like Lucas's character. He's also a bumbling fool. I think he has brain damage, and that's literally a character trait, I believe. The Go Eat Worms action, if you know what I mean. Giant worm monster. Fucking awesome. Nora's a great character as well. I'm glad we got more introductions to her, or rather, just sparking off that interesting plot line. We also got that soap joke. Not cool. That was gross. And Margot was here a lot, so pretty nice episode. Had a lot of great stuff, and I'd honestly probably give this a 10 out of 10. It's just fantastic. Next up, number 1 on our list, and it's no surprise now, Episode 6, Night of the Living Dummy. Yes, Part 2 is the bottom, Part 1 is the top. Where do I begin? Well, let's start with the actual beginning of the episode. The first, I think 15-20 minutes are great. I actually really like this Ephraim stuff. So Ephraim is a failing magician, and he finds Slappy, and his act completely turns around. Slappy makes him famous, and Slappy needs to be repaid, and we get introduction to this burning tower mystery that's been going on. And yeah, it's very interesting. I like kind of where it leads to in episode 10, but still, it's nice exposition. It gets you really wondering what the hell this is all about. And we get a lot of great Slappy moments. Might I add, Slappy is really cool here. I really dig the Slappy design and personality in the show, and also he's British, so that's cool. He also says ass later in the episode when we get to the Harold Biddle stuff. And it's some nice explanations toward who the fuck Harold Biddle is, and what's his deal, and why is he so evil and mean. And who the fuck is Slappy, what's in the case. All these mysteries are finally revealed, and it's very nice. I really like this episode. It's just got a lot of great Slappy stuff. It's got a great, finally, explanations to what the fuck's kind of going on, at least with Harold Biddle. And it's just a very solid episode and story. I really liked it. So, that'll close off our ranking here. So, yeah, we got 2 pretty bad episodes, one just really mid, and we got a couple really good episodes. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Tell me what your ranking of these episodes are, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.